The violent death of Rasputin. In the small village where Rasputin hailed from, fate dealt him a chilling blow on the 27th of June 1914. As he made a routine visit to the local post office, a peasant woman, her appearance peculiar and unsettling, abruptly lunged at him with a knife. With a swift and brutal motion, she pierced his abdomen, wrenching out his intestines. It was later revealed that this woman was a syphilitic prostitute, manipulated by a banished monk who sought to eliminate Rasputin. Meanwhile, thousands of miles away, in Bosnia, events unfolded that would send shockwaves throughout Europe. Archduke Franz Ferdinand was mercilessly assassinated, igniting what would be known as the Great War and pitting Germany against Russia. Ironically, Rasputin, had he survived, may have been the one person capable of dissuading Tsar Nicholas from mobilizing against his cousin, the German Emperor Wilhelm II, whom Nicholas referred to as Uncle Willie. However, driven by the desire to garner popularity among his people, Nicholas disregarded Rasputin's urgent telegrams, urging him to abstain from taking up arms. Little did he know that this decision would serve as the catalyst for the downfall of the Romanov dynasty, Rasputin himself, and ultimately Russia. Upon his return to St. Petersburg, Rasputin found himself as influential and powerful as ever. Seizing a moment of opportunity, the manipulative monk sought to step into the shoes of the absent Tsar Nicholas. And with Russia embroiled in a devastating war with Germany, the Tsar departed for military duty on the Western Front, leaving his wife Alexandra in charge of affairs at the palace. As the Empress grew increasingly reliant on Rasputin, he assumed the role of her advisor on matters of state and the war effort. Behind the grand desk of Alexandra Palace, Rasputin began wielding his authority, hiring and firing ministers with reckless abandon. However, his newfound position of power proved disastrous, leading to the senseless loss of millions of Russian soldiers in a futile battle. The nation found itself plunged into an abyss, with economic despair and poverty. The streets of St. Petersburg became a breeding ground for refugees, teeming with demonstrations and witnessing a sharp rise in the suicide rate. The once loyal Russian populace, enduring unimaginable suffering, grew to despise the privileged royal family, paving the way for an impending revolution. In 1914, the city of St. Petersburg found itself engulfed in a maelstrom of despair and disorder, mirroring the deteriorating state of Rasputin's own mind and failing health. Once renowned for his extraordinary healing abilities, the once invincible monk now confronted his own mortality, foretelling not only his impending demise, but also the tragic fate that awaited the Romanov family. On the city's streets, embittered and weary citizens, starved of sustenance and resources, began to suspect Rasputin of espionage and accused him of engaging in illicit affairs with the Empress Alexandra, who was already scorned due to her German lineage. These sentiments resonated among officials who perceived Rasputin as an ignorant, corrupt, and dangerously influential figure. They saw him as a malevolent force, a demonic puppeteer, manipulating the throne and dragging Russia into ruin, a threat that needed to be eliminated. Among Rasputin's mounting enemies in Parliament, two men saw an opportunity to rid Russia of the monk and bask in the glory and rewards that would surely follow. Prince Felix Yusupov, a wealthy, dashing aristocrat known for his extravagant lifestyle and penchant for hashish, was married to the Tsar's beautiful niece. Exploiting his position, he orchestrated a cunning trap to ensnare Rasputin. Yusupov's partner in crime was Grand Duke Dmitry Pavlovich of Russia, a descendant of Tsar Alexander II and a first cousin of Nicholas. Through his close association with Felix, he became entangled in the fabled assassination of Rasputin. Together, the two men devised an audacious plan to covertly eliminate the monk, fully aware that Tsar Nicholas and Empress Alexandra would seek vengeance for the loss of the man that they believed could save their failing son, Alexei. On a cold and snowy night on the 30th of December 1916, he enticed Rasputin to his opulent palace under the pretense of introducing him to his beautiful wife, Irene. Eager for such an opportunity, the lustful monk accepted the invitation and whisked away in a car to the Yusupov residence. Upon arrival, Rasputin was led to a basement dining room, meticulously staged to appear as if a lavish dinner had been taken place. While Rasputin sat patiently awaiting the appearance of Prince Felix's wife, he was presented with a plate laden with cream cakes and wine that were all heavily laced with cyanide. Rasputin, to the frustration of his would-be assassins, appeared oblivious to the alluring treats before him. Hours passed and still the monk displayed no signs of illness, despite the massive doses of poison coursing through his veins. Growing desperate, the assailant rushed upstairs to retrieve a revolver. Confronted with the barrel of a gun pointed directly at him, Rasputin made no attempt to resist or flee. He absorbed a bullet to his body and collapsed into the carpet. Minutes later, Yusupov and his co-conspirators jubilantly celebrated Rasputin's apparent demise on the upper floor. However, upon returning to the basement, Prince Yusupov was shocked to find signs of life in Rasputin's body as his eyes snapped wide open. Enraged and fueled by his survival instinct, the monk sprang to his feet and began throttling the startled Yusupov. Crying out for his life, Yusupov fled in panic, racing back upstairs. The doctor who had supplied the cyanide, paralyzed by terror at the notion of being slain by an indomitable Rasputin, fainted into unconsciousness. What was meant to be a straightforward assassination plot, employing poison as the weapon of choice, had transformed into a chilling nightmare. Rasputin, seamlessly impervious to the attacks on his body, appeared invincible. And downstairs, an unnerved Yusupov witnessed the monk's disappearance, only to find that Rasputin, injured and resembling the very demon his reputation depicted, had crawled his way up a flight of stairs and out into the courtyard, illuminated by the frigid snow. A rattled Yusupov, his nerves shattered, fired 2 shots at point-blank range, despite Rasputin's continued survival, as the monk vehemently threatened to inform the Empress of their treachery. Tsar Nicholas's cousin, driven by panic, fired 2 more shots, striking Rasputin in the back and head. A hysterical Yusupov rushed to the fallen body and viciously bludgeoned it with a metal weapon. Astonishingly, Rasputin clung to life, enduring even as he was bundled up and forcibly placed into a car, driven miles away to a desolate bridge on the outskirts of St. Petersburg. In the freezing cold at 5 a.m, the conspirators attempted to dispose of Rasputin's body by stuffing it into a hole in the icy river, hoping that the currents would carry it away into the depths of the sea. Finally, the grisly deed was accomplished, and Yusupov, known for his lack of discretion, boasted to his comrades of the successful elimination of the Siberian monk, seen as a toxic influence on the Russian royal family. 2 days later, a grotesque frozen corpse emerged from its watery grave. The autopsy revealed water in Rasputin's lungs, indicating that he had been alive when he was put into the river. Prince Yusupov and Grand Duke Dmitry Pavlovich, the conspirators, were eager to embellish the legend that they had engaged in a battle with the devil himself, though in reality it took 5 men to shoot Rasputin and discard his battered body into the icy depths of the Neva River. Rasputin's violent demise preceded the equally brutal assassination of the entire Romanov family in a Siberian cellar less than 2 years later, as civil war erupted and Russia plunged into a vortex of revolution led by the Bolsheviks. Whether Rasputin was merely an ambitious and audacious peasant or a devil with supernatural powers, as he claimed, remains an unanswered question. However, his image has endured as an enduring symbol of evil and the dark forces that dwell within the human psyche.